So good morning, everybody. I'm Dick Wagner. Bill Giannone is co-founder of the Crest Network, and we welcome you this Tuesday morning. We're going to be talking about some of the best marketing questions that you can use while you're out there in the marketplace calling on agents and plumbers and the like. And so we're going to, if I can make this move, we're going to dive right in and talk specifically about particular questions that you really should consider adding into your vocabulary of discussions that you have with your prospects and your clients. I've written extensively about asking good marketing questions. I have done other videos or webinars on marketing questions. And this is kind of like all of it combined into one for you to not have to go to 10 different places to see bits and pieces of it. I've listed about 10 or 12 typical questions that you could ask that will enhance not only your position and make them think that you're paying attention, that you are a thought leader, that you're listening to them. It also will help you demonstrate to them that you're a serious contender. Further, it demonstrates to those prospects that you're not like all of the rest of the marketers that are calling on them. I'm going to quickly read through them. I know you're also very capable of that, but if you're seeing it on a cell phone, it might be a little difficult. Asking questions such as, what are the top 2 challenges you face in your business? How is success defined by your carrier? Who are the top 2 or 3 leaders that you really respect? And you can narrow that down, that you respect within your industry. Excuse me. What trade shows do you attend? What industry publications do you read? Tell me about the top 3 things that you want to achieve this year. Or if you're with an insurance agent, do you have a favorite or a specialty insurance policy that you like to sell? How much do you engage on social media? Geez, that question will give you a clue about, are they on LinkedIn? Are they on Twitter? Are they on Facebook? Should you and could you try to connect with them? What's your number 1 marketing strategy? Geez, an insurance agent or a plumber could easily share that with you, and that would give you a clue as to how you might be able to help them. Another good one is, how many clients are repeat customers? This really fits with the plumbing business or a plumber, because insurance agents often have a continually repeat customer base. Sure, some leave, there is an attrition factor involved, and client retention is important to them. But hey, I've been with the same insurance company for years, and it's kind of like it's rather than do the due diligence to pursue a possible better insurance policy, we often just automatically just keep renewing. And then this last one, so it's an interesting one. I have had the marketers that I work with on a weekly basis, I've had many of them use this particular line, and it would go something like this. Hey, Joe, I've been calling on you now for almost a year, and we've had good conversations, and I was just wondering, so far you've never had the opportunity or a reason to send a job to us so that we could help you or your policyholder or your plumbing customer. Should we take you off the list? Well, first off, nobody wants to be taken off the list. You've got to have a lot of guts to ask that question, but if you ask it in a sincere, legitimate, caring way, I can almost assure you, and we've got historical data to prove this, 90-some% of those prospects or those clients will tell you no. If they're a client, they're doing business with you. So you're not going to take a client off the list. But if they're a prospect and you've been calling on them over and over and over again, and they've still not given you a referral or a job, when you ask them in the most pleasant, kindest way, should we take you off the list? They might ask you a follow-up question and say, what do you mean, take me off the list? And then you can be very straightforward and say, hey, I've been calling on you for quite some time and you haven't had the opportunity or a reason to send me a client or a job. And I just don't want to continue to waste your time. And I know you don't want to waste my time. So that would be my question. Should we take you off the list? That really has to be asked in the correct way, but it certainly helps you quit wasting your time and or money on a prospect that just isn't interested. They might be sending all their referrals to their friend, and they're never going to send you a job. They may just simply flat out don't give out referrals. They don't want to get involved. If it's an insurance agent, they might be told by their corporate office that they can't get involved. When you ask every single prospect what their number one or their first and or second headache or struggle is, think about this. If you're asking 10 insurance agent prospects what their number one headache or struggle is, you're going to learn what they really care about. You're going to very quickly figure out exactly what their concern or their issue is. You can't help but ask this question to 10 or 12 different prospects and go away not understanding their pain points. Absolutely, you are going to know. And what's interesting is you're probably going to hear many of the same kinds of pain points. And when you do, you need to take that information and strategize with others and or with me and figure out what could you do? What could be your response? What could you help them do to overcome or resolve some of those headaches or concerns or issues? By asking them the top 2 challenges they face in their business, it's going to teach you a ton of stuff about that client and or about that industry. When you ask them, should we take you off the list, it also adds exclusivity. In other words, if you're going to leave them on the list, if they want to be left on the list, and the vast majority of them will be, then it gives you some minor or more exclusivity. It gives them, I mean, the next time you come in, they told you they did not want to be taken off the list. So they're somewhat obligated to talk with you and or do business with you. Furthermore, it shows them, not by you saying it, but by you saying, should we take you off the list, it shows them that others are on the list. And if I'm on the list, I don't necessarily want to be taken off. It creates some exclusivity where you or where they feel like, oh my gosh, other people are on that list, other people are receiving visits, they're getting the benefits out of this particular marketer. Geez, I want to also. It demonstrates that you're different. It grabs their attention. It shows you, or it shows that you're interested in them. It also helps you know what's on their quote unquote whiteboard. A whiteboard, and I've done webinars and written articles about the concept of knowing what's on their whiteboard, but a whiteboard is nothing more than, I mean, it can be a whiteboard in the office. You all know what a whiteboard is, but it can also be a whiteboard in their head. It's the things that are important to them that maybe they don't write it on the physical whiteboard in their office or in the boardroom, but they write it on their brain. They know the pain points, their concerns, their goals, their aspirations, and it's there on a whiteboard, whether it's literal or it's virtual and it's in their head. So when you ask them whether or not you should take them off the list, one of the follow-up questions is, and maybe even beforehand, is asking some of those good questions to learn what is on their whiteboard. And then be unusual, be different, be unique. Tell them something they did not know. Now, I'm not talking, hey, did you know that the population of Canada is 17 million or whatever the number is? I don't mean to tell them something they didn't know that's irrelevant. I'm suggesting you tell them something that they probably did not know about their industry that matters to them. For example, you're calling on or you're visiting with an insurance agent. Telling them something they didn't know could be as simple as, hey, did you know that errors and omissions insurance policies are the top 3 or one of the top 3 favorite add-on policies that insurance agents sell? Or did you know that an umbrella policy is the most popular add-on to a homeowner's policy? By popular, I mean somewhere around 72%. That's something they probably didn't know, but it's something that adds to your credibility. It gives them a reason to want to listen to you, to pay attention, because you're suddenly someone that's knowledgeable about their industry, and that matters to them. You can have fun with it too. You can ask the plumber, hey, do you know what a Stillson wrench is? Chances are that if it's a plumber younger than 60, they probably don't know. Well, a Stillson wrench is just simply a pipe wrench, created and originally invented 50, 60, 70 years ago by a man named Stillson. The old timers will know that it's a Stillson wrench, but you can have fun with it and also demonstrate that you're knowledgeable. You know something about the plumbing business. It adds to your credibility and believability, and they are more likely to want to do business with you. Asking those kinds of questions demonstrates that you're different. I think I told you this a few weeks ago, or maybe it was in an article I wrote, but we did some research. Actually, I did some research. I subscribe to, or the Crest Network subscribes to Data Axle or Sales Genie. Some of you might be familiar with it. And I took 10 of the different cities where we have clients, where we coach them and market and work with them and their marketers and their owners. And I did some queries on Data Axle, and in the majority of those markets that we have clients, we found that on average, according to Data Axle, there are 60 separate restoration companies in those markets. How in the world are you going to be different when you're in El Paso or Columbus, Ohio, or Cleveland or Virginia Beach, or geez, I can go on and on. How are you going to demonstrate that you're different? Why would they want to do business with you and not one of the other 60 average number of 60 restoration companies in your market? Now, some of them could be carpet cleaners that claim that they do water damage or water extraction. Some of them are going to only want to focus on fire. Some are going to only want to focus on mold or asbestos. But when I did the research and the queries, I found an average of 60 separate restoration companies. I have been harping and complaining and grumbling and coaching my marketers for years that they've got to be different. They've got to have differentiation in their market. And if they, as a marketer, don't have personal branding, you're all missing a boat big time. If you want to talk and you have not talked about with me personal branding or differentiation, give me a call. I'd be happy to talk with you about it. By asking those good questions, it helps you become known as the expert for them in their business or their industry. You want to have expertise in their business. That's why you want to ask those questions. What are your number one or number two top pains when you ask those questions and they give you those answers, you can't help but learn and know, and that makes you an expert going on down the road with others in that same industry. Always try to tell them something that they didn't expect, that they probably didn't know, but that's relative to their particular business or industry. And focus on how you can be different from your competition. Whiteboards will give you a clue. If you know your prospects well enough, and you have been in their boardrooms and you've been in their offices and maybe even into their back lunchroom area where they actually have a physical whiteboard on the wall. And I've been in offices where every single wall was covered with whiteboards, and each one was devoted to a different issue or thing. And they give you a clue. And you don't have to necessarily comment about it, but you should take note of it. And that will give you advance information to talk with them about the next time. Whiteboards almost always show what's important to those prospects or those clients. If it's on the whiteboard, there's a reason that they put it on there. I got a kick out of this particular picture here because they didn't spell business plan correctly. But that doesn't matter. In the case of a whiteboard, it's the things that they put on it that lead you to an understanding of what it's all about. It's kind of like the whiteboard divulges their secrets. It lists their issues or their headache. It lists a strategy. It gives you some awesome clues. It gives you a key to what's really a concern for them. Whiteboards list the client's most pressing issue or their concern. If it's a pain or a challenge or a problem, and you see that on the whiteboard, or they've shared that with you, next time you come in and try to bring them a Maven article about addressing that specific issue or those specific solutions. It will give you a leg up over your competition. It will demonstrate to them that you're different. It will aid with your personal branding. And then I encourage you to carefully select your targets. Not every single insurance agent do you want or should you try to get. I'm going to say it right here. You can't have them all. Out of maybe 300 insurance agents in your immediate market, you're probably only going to get 10% of them if you're lucky. I know of markets where the very best ultra high performing marketers that I work with have only 15 or maybe 20 out of 500 insurance agents in their market. You can't get them all. You don't want them all. And in reality, if you've got 20 insurance agents feeding you jobs, you don't need all the rest. You're being overwhelmed as it is. And then I don't talk a lot about this because a lot of people, when we teach this in our Restoration Marketing Specialist course, I talk about stalking your clients. That's kind of weird and freaky and bizarre in many circles. But ironically, stalking them on LinkedIn or Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or on the internet enables us to check almost anyone out. It enables us to learn about them, see what they look like, see what they say. You may find that you don't want them as a client or a prospect, and you might choose to eliminate them right out of the gate. But if you see that they could be a great candidate to be part of your organization, your marketing strategy, try to connect with them on LinkedIn or on Facebook. It isn't any secret. I've done LinkedIn webinars and demonstrated how you can make LinkedIn work for you. I have over 3,000 LinkedIn First connections. And that gives me a platform that I should not abuse, but it gives me a platform, which I don't abuse, by the way, gives me that platform to reach out and demonstrate my expertise and my interest and my empathy and my understanding of them and their industry or their vertical. Facebook, the same way. And I highly recommend you consider a private Facebook group specific to a particular vertical. You would be shocked at how many people you can invite that would accept and participate in a private invite-only Facebook page where you could communicate directly with them. When you know very little about your prospect, then you need to learn about them and you need to learn about their industry, or it's going to be a waste of their time and your time. If you're just going through the motions, if you're just doing stop, drop, and roll marketing where, you've got 20 people on a list that you're going to visit that day, you're just going through the motions. You're not really making it pay off. You're not bringing them legitimate expertise. You're not taking the time to ask them what their pain points are and then doing your homework later on and then going in and helping them address some of those pain points. I know you're not doing that. And I found this particular graphic that I thought was very apropos. A year from now, you'll wish you had started today. I have seen that in so many ways because I'm not a kid anymore. And, something as simple as planting a couple of trees in our yard. We planted the trees, and now 4 years later, those trees are 3 times taller, 4 times taller than I am. So when you hear that a year from now, you'll wish you had started today, that's really, really good advice. Start asking your prospects what their pain points are now, and you will be glad you did a year from now. Also want to remind you that we have a Crest app available on the Google app site and on the Apple app site. On the CrestNetwork.com website, we have posted dozens and dozens and dozens of podcasts that both Bill Giannone and I have put on there for you They're also on Spotify, where you can listen to them there. I certainly welcome you, if you are not a Crest member, to join the Crest Library. The Crest Library has hundreds and hundreds of articles and videos for you to learn from. And that's only 99 bucks a month. You can cancel at any time. I'm Dick Wagner. On behalf of myself, Bill Giannone, and everybody at the Crest Network, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Talk to you next time. Bye-bye.